Panther Nation, Season 3 podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com.
I had fun, man. Just out, these guys joking. We working at the same time. Putting the work in as a team. Like I said, I'm just glad to be with the guys.
My favorite night of the week.
We want to go out there and we're playing to win. We're not out here just to show up. We're out here to win it.
I don't want guys that want to win, because really, who does it? Nobody wants to win. Everybody wants to win. I want players that hate to win.
Well, this embodies everything that we are as a team, as an organization. Our motto is keep down, and that's what we do.
What's up, Panther Nation? Tony Dunn, C3 podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. I do it with my best buddies, Joe Riolano, Mel Mayock. Good to see you again. Long time. Psych. I just saw you fellas.
It seems like it was just the other day.
Right.
It was. Are we doomed is what people are already saying. Joe, the man who's been to the depths, to the bottom of life at times and then resurrected himself, are the Panthers doomed?
Well, much like life, football can be hard. And just because you're struggling 3 games into a season does not mean the season is over.
All right. Well, tonight's episode is Destroyed by the Saints and now Facing the Pats. Episode 17.34. You can follow us at @cat_chronicles on Twitter. Like our Facebook page, Carolina Cat Chronicles. If you're listening later on iTunes, Stitcher, leave us a review. Give us a share on social media. I know there's a lot of people on YouTube. There always are. And there's a great conversation going. And I know every single one of those people are going to smash that like button right now and share this broadcast with their friends, because I'm going to share something special with you. This is what it sounded like for Tony, Mel, and Joe coming out of the game on the ride home.
Oh, boy.
It's awful. Horrendous. Awful.
Incredibly deflating. Disappointing.
Oh, we got to relive this.
This is why people make an argument for watching football on TV is better.
And for why Cam is not a real quarterback.
Yeah. Man, you're right.
Well, I'm not going to buy into that. It's better at home because, that's spoiled, right? When they win, it's great.
Yeah.
But you can't just be like, oh, well, if they win, I'll be
3
there. If
games
they
in a
lose.
row, though, Mel.
But they won 2 out of the 3.
Well, true. But not because.
But I'm driving 4 hours, though. I feel for you. That's just awful. You're going to get home at 9:30 or so.
Now I'm going to get home at by the time we get out of here, all this traffic, I won't hit the road till 6:30.
No, it won't be that bad.
It's going to be dang midnight before I get home. Cam Newton's going to be sleeping probably sweetly.
He'll be out
in his bed.
He's going to be out at the club.
He's going to be whatever he is with a pescatarian diet. My ass is going to be tired as fuck tomorrow. Thanks, man.
Thanks, Barack Obama.
You're my favorite person, man. Cam's my favorite person. I love Barack Obama, too.
I love Barack Obama, too.
I miss you, bro. I miss you, Barry.
Andy and I went to a Obama rally at UNC Charlotte back in, what was that, probably 08, 07? Yeah, 08.
07.
Yeah, I saw a Barack Obama rally in that 08 election.
All right, so
man, that was moved. I walked out of there excited to be an American.
So who had the worst day, Cam Newton or the dude that ran over the cop at the intersection?
That was bad.
I feel like Cam Newton was the cop.
And the Saints were the car.
Cam was,
yeah, and the Saints were the car. Exactly.
I think Cam was in the car and I was the cop.
Oh gosh, we got run over, man. We got steamrolled
Got
in our own house
emotionally crushed
by some bullshit ass Saints that ain't even that good. That's what everybody was telling us, though. I told y'all to be careful in that, right?
Yeah.
Is that the Saints?
Well, I was expecting a 27-24, 30-24 win by us.
We didn't get shit done, man.
We did not.
I expected 40 points, but from the Panthers.
Not by our defense.
Not by
I thought we were going to put up 24. We didn't get in. Like, did we? What did we even score?
2 field goals.
Cam's running touchdown.
That's right. Cam's running touchdown.
And then the third round throws another pick. Anytime he does something good, he throw a pick.
He just cannot. He's not looking for other receivers.
Right. He is one and done. And that's not a
that
score. That's
is
a confidence.
bad, though, because
that's a confidence
you
thing.
got to go through your reads, man.
You do.
And he's not doing any reads. They're calling the play. I want to ask one thing. Have you guys ever seen Cam Newton pump fake?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Really?
I mean, he used to with Ginn to free, like,
I have not
to take
seen
the safety
it
off
forever, man. Is that like he just sits
now,
there?
Now, Breeze did that to perfection on that Ginn touchdown today.
Ginn, check.
First time he ever caught a pass.
First time he caught a pass. That's how I feel, man. That's how bad our day is. Ginn ruined it. Jeez. So terrible. It's like the quietest car right now. We're like forcing this conversation. Nobody wants to talk football.
All right. Well, we do want to talk football tonight. I'm back, guys. My head is lifted higher. Not much higher. The crazy thing, we did see a guy hit a cop right on the way out of the stadium.
Crazy. Just hit a cop.
Thump.
Ran
and
over.
Boom, this cop is on his ass. And so this car ride got even worse, guys. We're driving, and then we finally get sick of talking about the Panthers. So
we got one highlight. We thought.
We turned on the radio to hear, with 40 seconds left or whatever, the Lions driving with 4 seconds left on the clock, or 14 seconds left on the clock. They throw a touchdown. The guy on the radio goes ballistic. He's saying, touchdown, Detroit. They've won the game. And we're in the car going, yes, thank goodness something good came out of this day.
That's right. All is okay with the world.
And then we turned the station looking for other highlights or something. It came back like 3 minutes later, and it was like,
no, we called
Atlanta won the game.
Remember, we called to order the pizza. That's what happened.
That's what it was. That's what it was. All right.
Yeah.
So the C3 crew got together, and we went to the Saints game, or the Panthers game, hosting the Saints. Panthers were trying to move to 3-0. The Saints were 0-2. They came into our house and curb stomped us 34-13. Cam Newton had arguably, I would say, one of the worst games of his career, if not the worst, in my opinion. Maybe it's because I was there and that was particularly deflating. He threw 3 picks. We moved the ball well at times. We looked to be establishing the run game early. And then we get down to I guess on the goal, not the goal line, but into the red zone. And Matt Khalil decides to take a nap. And Cam Newton goes down, and we settle for 3. This has 2014 written all over it, folks. Ron Rivera going conservative, settling for 3 instead of getting 7. This is a 7-8-1 team at the moment, and then the defense didn't help us out.
Settling for a punt. Settling for a punt. The most conservative call I have ever seen in my life made John Fox look like a riverboat. down by 18 in the fourth quarter on the 32-yard line, 4th and 5, and you punt. You can't trust your kicker to kick it 52 yards.
So what were we down at that point? 23-6?
We were down by 18, whatever it was. Because if we would have made the field goal, it would have made it 15 points or a two-score game, 2 touchdowns and a 2-point conversion. So a field goal would have made it.
This game started out, and the Panthers were okay, I guess, but settling for field goals. But the New Orleans Saints just drove the ball with us without any resistance. There was zero pressure on Drew Brees, it seemed like.
Yeah.
The defense was pedestrian at best. And then the offense put them in a tough position by turning the ball 3 times in bad places. So I guess, Joe, well, how do you feel hearing all of that? Hearing this is 2014, 7-8-1 written all over it.
Well, man, it does feel like that. Really, we're expecting such a much better performance, knowing what we had heard about the Saints coming into this game. The worst defense, offense was struggling. I thought we were going to come in to our house and wipe the floor with them. And then they do the exact opposite. They wipe the floor with us. So, yeah, everybody's discouraged. Everybody's frustrated. We haven't played well this season. We haven't. But just think about this. We haven't played well, and we are 2-1. So, I mean, if there's a silver lining, that's it. And
it's up to these guys. It's up to these guys to get better. Either they get better, right, or they get worse.
All right. So let's talk about. All right, let's break down into it. Right now, I mean, obviously, we got to talk about Cam Newton. Cam Newton played poorly. What I thought that was really the worst about now, his receivers didn't do him any favors. You go back and look at the tape. They could have helped break up some of those passes, but he was not on his game. Let's just be clear. He was bad. And I think where I was upset is that I felt like he knew he was so zoned in to a particular read. He was throwing the ball no matter what.
Mm-hmm. He was not. He was not looking at. He was not looking at multiple receivers. I mean, that's not your. That's not your shoulder. That's your ears. That's your what's between your ears.
Right. Jeremy Igo put up a little snippet of film today. On it was the play, the Kenny Vaccaro interception play late in the game, and Cam had his guy. I mean, was staring down the receiver. Yep. And if he would have just looked to the right,
was it Curtis? Was that the Curtis Samuel one?
No, Shepard was wide open.
Yeah, that's the most. That is the most frustrating part. I mean, it's hard when you hear Ron Rivera say missed opportunities, but they really were. Right? Yeah. If Cam were making the right decisions, and I hope it's simply him getting used to the new play calling, the timing, not the practice that he had, and he's still trying to get acclimated to it.
The receivers too.
Yeah.
He's got some new guys.
Right. And then he's so competitive, he gets down, he starts forcing things a little bit.
Another problem I think we have is with Shula. Now, he started the game with some really good play calling. I thought it was.
Yeah. The first 2 drives were fantastic.
Yeah.
They were doing option.
A lot of misdirection
passes.
Right.
Some passes with the running back moving from the backfield to the slot. A lot of good things he did. And then as the Saints started to put points up on the board, it was like he regressed to this, let's run the ball or let's try play action pass. All the innovation left. Now, I will say.
Somebody I heard on the radio say today, as soon as Matt Khalil blew that assignment and gave up the sack, it was like Shula couldn't trust the offense to do anything but vanilla.
Okay. Listen, Under the Dome podcast, their title is Cat Scratch Fever.
Yeah.
They're just kicking off.
A lot of good comments. So many good comments in YouTube tonight. We're not going to be able to get all. Cody Lightning says, thoughts on Cam Newton. If he's going to play with his shoulder, it can't be an excuse. I agree. You know what I'm saying? Is that he is the guy that's on the field. We've seen him go through progressions before. Why doesn't he do it now? It's infuriating. Lynn said that this was a bad game all across the board. Offense, defense, coaching. Agree with that 100%. And then there are some, and I do want to keep going on Cam for a second, but next we'll move to coaching because Blue Bajou 10, Ron Rivera is not a good coach, only 2 seasons over 507 years. And we saw one other comment. Where did it go? And it was that we won't see Riverboat Ron until he's on the hot seat. I lost it. But so Cam Newton with a bad game. I agree that going through the progressions is tough. What Cam is such a momentum player. It's hard for him to get out of a rut. That's what I thought he did that some. I thought he did that some last year. I think though that he was trying to do that in this game. I think he's been trying to mentally calm himself down, but he's not going through his progressions. There's not a familiarity there, a comfortableness. And when his offensive line is not playing fantastic, it gets in his head. I want
to bring up a point, and we talked about this, on the car ride or at some point we did talk about this. We got to remember KB left. Okay, Benjamin was out and left the game real early.
Yeah, so like the first drive.
Funchess moves over to his spot, and Shepard becomes the secondary receiver. Okay?
I thought that was going to be a good thing. Not good. It would almost be better if like Funchess got hurt. But
my point is this:
Samuel played a ton.
That Funchess is not going to run the routes the same way Kelvin Benjamin would.
Yeah, you're right. Cam was used to coming in tighter.
A lot of those incompletions in the interception.
You're exactly right.
And that has some bearing on the situation. Again, that just goes to Cam. Okay, it happens once, it happens twice. Let's not go to that guy anymore. Let's look at another player or see if we can find somebody else who's open. Because Benjamin and Funchess do not run the routes the same way. So Cam's timing is off.
Yeah. Our offense allows no room, or our team allows no room for the defense to be off and Cam Newton to be off. But that's the NFL.
And it was a Sunday of major upsets. Let's face it. It was upside down in a lot of games on Sunday. It really was.
You're right.
And it's a week-to-week league, man. I mean, we could come back and beat the Pats this week.
All right. Again, Blue Bajou says he's like a 3-point shooter. We've heard that in the past. He is streaky. He gets hot. And when he's off at times. Scott Knapp said, Cam's mental game has never appeared strong to me. And, we want to first is that like he is he's 28. He's going to get better. He should be getting better at the game each year. You're hoping that he's going to progress. One of the things, though, that Mel mentioned early, you mentioned it in text messages on Monday morning, and I went back and watched the replay of the game Monday afternoon, and it bothered me a lot. And that's when Cam Newton scored the touchdown.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Newton scored the touch, and I love Cam. I'm the Cam guy. Like, there's nobody, that really likes him more than I do. So I want him to live up to my image of him too. And he scores this touchdown. It's a moment where the Panthers are going to reassert themselves and say, this is our house. You're not going to just run all over us. And then Jonathan Stewart comes up and tries to basically
hug him,
celebrate with him.
Yeah, I think he was going to try to lift him up, like, lift him up in the air, like by his waist, that kind of thing. That's what it seemed like to me, anyway. Celebrate with him.
And Cam shrugged him off, didn't look back, and completely kind of what I think is this is I've been thinking a lot about it. Does it say Cam's selfish? What does it tell us about Cam? Is he not a team player? Guys, I want to defend him, so I'm not going to say any of those things. What I think is I think Cam continues to have trouble thinking that anybody else can win it but him.
I don't know, man. It was a frustrating moment for me. When I saw it, it just struck me, and it was just weird. I mean, it just felt like maybe there's more going on than we know. Does he have the locker room? Do they trust him? Does he trust them? Is that chemistry there? Because back in 2015, man, these guys were partying together on the sidelines. They were taking selfies. They were having fun. Everything was clicking. Now they're not even celebrating in sync together.
Blue Bajou says, I think we're reaching now. And I want to say that, but go back and watch it. It's like, dang, dude, you can at least like give Stewart a pat on the head.
Yeah.
It was like Cam was maybe he gets so tuned in that he's an inward thinker. Maybe that's what it is. But just something to continue to think about. Now, I do want to give Cam props on this. His worst game in his entire career, arguably, produced possibly his best press conference ever.
No doubt. Fully accountable. For all the people that say he skirts the issue and he's not accountable, go watch that press conference.
Cam had a difficult press conference ahead of him. He came off a bad game. He has a propensity to be Mr. Mopeyhead. He has trouble dealing with adversity. He stood up there, kind of looking like somebody said the Dr. Doom from Roger Rabbit. I thought he kind of looked like Stevie Wonder crossed with Lucius Lyon. But,
old school.
Like all of these, he did stand up there and he took accountability for his performance. He said if he plays better, this game is different. He then went on. He had to face questions about Julius Peppers and Donald Trump. And you know that Cam is a lightning rod, period. But he's gotten flack from both sides about how he handles the race issue. He came out and said that being a black quarterback was part of the reason people were critical of him in January before the Super Bowl. After the Super Bowl loss, he walks that back tremendously and implies that like America's a post-racial nation and that it's not a big deal. And he got creamed from both sides. I thought that he continued to support his fellow players, people's ability to voice their opinions in the United States. But what I like too is he did all of that. He didn't shrink from the question, but in the middle of it, he snuck this in. He was like, yeah, I think we got to get better as a nation, but we got to perform better on the field. Like he totally went back to the game and all of this. I thought that he handled it the best he possibly can. I know there's going to be people upset. And then at the end of the press conference, they asked him about Ron Rivera's decision to go to punt it on that fourth down. And without a moment of hesitation, he said, whatever Coach Ron Rivera decides, I'm with him 110%. I thought he did all the things. He checked all the boxes of things that people say he doesn't do in that press conference. And I think that shows that he says as my game continues to grow, that we have to remember that these players are growing into, there's an arc to their careers. We are not at the end of it.
No.
It's only going to continue to, so it's not over. Let's go on to the coaching staff.
But now, as Greg Craig says in the YouTube chat room, I would much rather have had a great game and a bad press conference.
Agreed 100%.
Maybe next time.
Agreed 100%. But I guess we'll take what we can, right?
That's right.
As
John Fox would say, it is what it is.
Shula, I think Shula is a whipping boy. I'm the last defender of Mike Shula.
I've always defended him.
Is he perfect? No. Is he great? Probably not. Is he the problem? I don't know if that's it. I think if we execute that it's not so bad. I do think there's some concern. I do think that maybe, hey, it is time for a change there. But a lot of people, what I've been getting underneath all of this, there's the barometer, the thermostat for Panther Nation has been running a little hot for Ron Rivera. Like Blue Bajou said, only 2 years over 500 as a coach. They were all on his ass in 2012 and 2013 where we went 12-4 on that defense. He was on the hot seat then. He was on the hot seat. Well, I won't say is that 2015 right now gives him grace in my eyes. I don't think it. But we got to remember this is that a new GM is going to likely going to be coming in unless they just elevate Marty Herney, and that could mean trouble. How do you guys feel about the coaching staff in Carolina being able to handle this adversity?
You want that first, Joe?
Yeah, I'll go. I think Ron has earned some leeway. I think before he goes, we should lose Shula. The problem has not been our defense mostly when we've been sub 500. It's usually been the offense that's the culprit. That's what kind of sputters and spurts along. So I think before Rivera was ever to be let go, Shula would be the first scapegoat, and then Ron would get a chance to bring someone in and season with that person and see how things go. That's my opinion, and I think that's how it should be. I think Rivera's done enough to earn that. 3 division titles, NFC championship, Super Bowl appearance. So I think that's enough.
I think realistically that's the right answer. I think that I do think we have to remember this is that, I don't know, is that I fluctuate on Ron Rivera. I was pro Ron Rivera early. I feel like last year to me was a really disappointing season for Ron Rivera. I felt like he pointed the finger at the players a little bit more than I was comfortable with. I was hoping that he was just going to die on the sword. He is loyal to his coordinators. I think Steve Wilkes is great. I don't think is that making a head coach change is necessarily on the horizon. But one of the things that you do have to be concerned with Ron Rivera is much changing. And I think that Ron Rivera is Ron Rivera. And I don't know how to say this and maybe we don't change. Maybe changing isn't as much as we want, but there are some good things with that. One of the greatest things about Ron Rivera is that he's been able to in early adversity finish strong with teams. So he can keep a locker room a lot of times, it seems like. But Mel, you saw old conservative Ron out there. At some point, he's got to just try to win no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, but it does come down. I mean, like several folks, like Carl Van said on YouTube, he wasn't the one missing wide open passes. He wasn't the one not executing. And if you had that recorder going during that first drive of the game, we were on cloud 9, dude, because we even turned to each other and said, this is the offense that we've been promised all year. And those first couple of drives, we were moving the ball. The formations were moving. They were determining whether it was man-to-man or zone. They were putting our guy, Run CMC, in good positive positions. They were doing everything they should except get in the end zone. And that, at the end of the day, is not Ron's fault. The problems I have with Ron, two things. One is he was only riverboat when his job was on the line. He tends to get way too conservative. That's a problem. Is it fireable? No, it's frustrating. The second one,
that's an excellent way of putting it.
The second one is just the in-game changes. I mean, I remember when you could fault Dan Henning for a lot of things when he was the coordinator, but one thing that man did well is he would change things up at halftime. And you would see us get better as the game goes on. Here's a stat for you. How many points do you think the Panthers have scored in the fourth quarter this year? Grand total of 3 points all year long.
We scored like 9 in all of the quarters.
Well, no, we won 23-3. I know we won. We haven't scored a lot, but to think only 3 points in the fourth quarter, that just goes to show that we are not making in-game adaptations, and it's hurting us. That is a fireable offense. And I'm not saying he should be fired, but he needs to fix that, whether it be bring in an outside consultant or something, because if you don't make adaptations and they start seeing your tendencies and they just stick to your initial game plan throughout the entire game, you are going to win 7 games, maybe. Right? So, I mean, that's the biggest problem I have.
We've also seen that Ron has not obviously I think Ron's good at coaching up rookies. I think that the veterans respect him a lot, but there's a lot of holes on this roster. And while I know that falls on the GM, I feel like a coach's job is to advocate for certain things, players. And I don't know if Ron Rivera is just, you give me the guys and I'll figure out what to do with them.
Where do you think the biggest holes are?
But, well, look, I mean, now this goes back to this, is right now I do think that there are some, it's going to sound like me just trying to throw Dave Gettleman under the bus. But right now we are living with decisions made by Dave Gettleman that have benefited us and hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Khalil, look, Russell Okung, I believe, is playing well for, who did he sign with? Anyway, Matt Khalil not playing well.
Yeah.
He's playing terrible.
Yeah. You got
the secondary. There's a lot. I have a ton of concerns with this secondary, dude. I got a lot of concerns with the secondary. I think that we crowned James Bradbury a shutdown corner. And look, I think he's a promising player. I'm not trying to say he's been playing bad necessarily, but the idea that
we're not getting the interceptions we need on that back end. Yeah,
right. Worley, look, Nervaj says this. Worley is a bum. I've been trying to resist saying that, but he is.
He played pretty well, in my opinion. I thought he made some great tackles. He got his nose up in there. He busted up some screens, and I don't recall him getting beat one-on-one a whole lot. Maybe I'm wrong, but I didn't see him having a bad game. Captain Munnerlyn had a bad game.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you there.
Carl Van says this. Josh Norman is playing great, by the way.
Yes, that sucks. He should be on our team. That was Dave Gettleman's number one mistake, and it still haunts us.
I can.
But
I can agree with that now.
But that's filtering down to Worley and Bradbury and Adams. And my point is that, like, all right, so we can say, all right, well, Worley didn't play awful. He's played a little bit better.
He should be our third corner. He should be our number 3 corner.
Right. But you need him to be a number 2.
Right.
You need Bradbury to be a number 1. It's so delicate and fragile.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if you think about this, is that there's question marks, concern. I mean, I just think this is that, like, we love Dave Gettleman. We thought he had a vision and long-term plan, but there are some real weaknesses on this team too.
But
Joe, why did you think that Munderland played so bad? He got beat by the tight end one good time.
No.
You there, Joe?
Yeah, go ahead. You take it, man.
Okay. Well, two things that I saw. I mean, there were two big time plays where he hit. It was 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 9. There were screen plays where it was his role to make the tackle. Mm-hmm. He hit the guy and it just fell off of him like butter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and gave up the first downs. They kept the drives going that ended up in scores, which were really big differences in the game.
Let me tell you what I think.
Look. Actually, hold on. I think Blue Bazoo. Yeah, I was about to say. I almost let Mel steamroll me on the Worley thing. He said this. Worley gave up 2 TDs.
Did he? Okay. I haven't gone back and broke it down, but I
remember that one. The first one he got a penalty on. Where it was pass interference and the guy caught it anyway. Mm. And looking back at that, what I was so pissed at Worley is like he didn't try to chuck that guy on the line. He just let him run by him. And then he just tried to tackle him. Like, it was terrible. I feel like for some reason I just have these going back. 2014 is on my brain. You have Byron Bell at left tackle. And Joe, do you remember starting off 2-0?
Yeah.
We started off 2-0 with Thomas Deku, Antoine Cason, and then we lost like 7 in a row.
Way to cheer everybody up there.
Mind. Ron Rivera was.
Here's where I think the Panthers are going to have to make an adjustment, and particularly against teams like we're getting ready to face. They've been trying to play this 3 linebacker look with Shaq Thompson out there, and Shaq Thompson can cover tight ends, but it's a problem when they bring in.
A receiver.
Yeah, a receiver.
Playing that Buffalo nickel against a receiver.
He's big now. In college, he could do it because he didn't have the mass that he does now.
That's a great point.
Too big. So they're going to have to bring the nickel look in, and they're going to have to bring Munderland in. And yes, he looked bad because he's not played much. He needs to be on the field, getting reps at game speed, and he'll hopefully be able to fill that gap that we're having in the coverage. But remember the play we saw where Shaq Thompson was back at safety?
Mm-hmm.
That can't happen.
I agree.
I'm a Shaq Thompson fanatic. And that's just not a role he can play.
It's just not a good idea.
I think we got to, of course it's based on the teams, because there are some teams that he can get out there and cover a tight end. But the Saints have too many shifty, quick twitch guys.
What are we going to do this Sunday, guys, against Gronk, Crooks, or Brandon Cooks?
Right. There's a lot of conversation in the YouTube chat about the Patriots game upcoming. The Panthers, with a defense that didn't stop the Saints, an offense that couldn't score on the Saints, now has to go and play the New England Patriots, who demolished the Saints. Good news in one way is that the Saints, before this past week, before they played the Panthers, had the worst defense in the league. And now
the
Patriots have the worst defense in the league. But the problem is we couldn't score on the last worst defense in the league. And now we got to play a quarterback who's even better than Drew Brees. And in the YouTube chat, they just said, Worley, poor Worley, going to get just eaten alive. Initial thoughts. I think we're down. We are 9-point dogs on the road. After this week's loss, I don't even think that's that crazy. But Joe, you start off. Initial thoughts going against going to Foxborough.
Often, I think one area where we may have an advantage is our offensive line against their defensive line. So that may be a positive coming into this game. And I'll be honest with you guys, I am not opposed to bringing Moten in.
You're not opposed, or you're advocating for?
I am not opposed to bringing him in.
Or are you advocating to bring him in?
Yes, I am advocating.
There you go. Yeah.
I am advocating for him to come in if Williams continues to not live up to expectations. But I think our offensive line may actually have a little advantage here against the Patriots. So that may be a positive. We know Tom Brady is Tom Brady, but guys, we've beaten him before.
We have. And they're not unbeatable. They are not unbeatable.
We know that. We saw what Kansas City did. Now,
you see what Houston did. You see what Houston did. And
yeah, exactly.
Houston is not a good team.
No.
Right.
So we do have a chance. We just can't let Brady beat us.
You know how we win this game.
I want to shout out Carl Van.
Yeah.
Just a good friend of all of ours. I talked to him a lot on Facebook and things, and he said, I feel like we have a shot at New England if Cam can find a way to pull his head out of his ass. Christopher Kelton said, and this is echoing what Joe said earlier in the show, I'm sorry the Panthers don't make adjustments only when Rivera's job is on the line. If you play bad, you should be benched and let someone else come in. I think that goes to what you're talking about with Moten. So you got to play a quarterback, Mel, and Tom Brady that's seen everything, knows everything. And that was the problem with Drew Brees, is that if you don't get after him and quick, he knows how to bust up whatever coverage you're dealing with. And that he's going to pick his own defense apart, man. And
our defense is predicated on zone, right? It's a two deep zone defense. And if we're not getting pressure and you've got one of the elite quarterbacks, they're going to carve you up. That's just the way our defense is, because we're not man to man. If they're smart, they do the little quicks, and the Patriots are kings of that, of getting little scat wide receivers that are quicker than fast, getting into creases and zones. So it's gonna come down to two things. On offense, if we get the ball first, or in our first drive, second drive, if we're driving, moving down the field, and we actually punch it in the end zone instead of settling for a Gano field goal, then we got a chance. Then we're making a statement. We're getting that mojo going. We've got a chance. But if we go down and we stall and we kick a field goal on that first drive or two, game is pretty much over at that point, because they're not going to be settling for field goals. They're going to be driving down the field. The only way you beat Tom Brady is you keep him off the field, you score 7, and then you play physical on defense. Peppers is going to have to hit Brady. And then you bring Wes Horton in and let Wes Horton take a penalty and get ejected. Let it just hit Brady hard after the whistle. Let them know that we're there to freaking play football.
And by the way, you get ejected for giving Tom Brady flowers.
Yes, so, you do. But,
it's going to be easy for Wes Horton to get ejected. I do think this one thing.
It's true
that one thing when it comes to, like you were saying about how they can work the seams in the zone, I think what they can do is I think they can work the holes in the zone. I do think one good thing about what the Panthers defense will be able to do against Tom Brady is that our linebackers are good enough to limit the damage of the dink and dunk.
I hope so.
So I think that one of the things that killed us in the Saints game is that while Drew Brees was trying to punishing us at times, what really killed us is those mugs were busting 10-yard runs off.
Yeah, none of our 4 defensive tackles registered a tackle. How was that possible?
It doesn't make any sense. So,
no, considering who the Saints had on the offensive line, it doesn't make any sense.
You just got to wonder if our head was in this game because, I mean, we were playing their backups.
Do you think we were looking ahead to the Patriots?
That's entirely possible. Stupid, but possible.
I think this comes back to, again, like I know that we want to give Rivera a bye and all of this stuff, like a pass. And I think I'm on that. I mean, I'm on that train. You know, is that like I'd rather stick with a guy. I mean, I think I'd rather try some under changes like Joe suggested rather than going straight for the top. But one of the things you got to worry about is there's been a couple of times we've seen the Panthers not come mentally prepared to a game.
Yeah. There's no
We've
excuse
seen
for
it
that.
on Thursday night football against the Eagles and the, you know what I'm saying? These big kind of moments. Sometimes it's been some big moments.
Super Bowl.
But sometimes it's been these moments like this is, look, we were 2-0. We're hosting an 0-2 Saints team that's giving up 500 yards of offense to everybody. And now we got to go on the road to Foxborough, on the road to Detroit, and then host the Eagles next.
On a Thursday night. Short week.
We really, if we were 3-0, you can go and win 1 out of 3 and feel good about your team. But really, right now, if you lose to the Patriots, which a lot of people are saying is just a loss right off the bat, you got to win. Really, you need to beat
Detroit
both
and
the Lions and the Eagles.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
It's extremely tough. I mean, it feels like we're in a hole, and we're 2-1, but it feels like we're in a hole. Momentum is not going in our way. And what we said at the beginning of the year, let's not kid ourselves. We said this team could be really good if we stay healthy and Cam, we're only going to go as far as Cam takes us. Right now, Cam is not playing well, and we've lost some key players. So things are not going well, but it's not all for loss. I'm not ready to throw in the towel in the season yet.
So last thoughts on the Patriot game. Mel thinks that it's about getting an early start. I think a lot of it has to do with getting after Tom Brady. But it all comes down to this. This team needs Cam Newton to have like a 3-touchdown game and a rushing touchdown. McCaffrey, we got to give this McCaffrey some love. 100 yards
did he look good. The best play that almost was.
Yeah. I mean, and he was fighting hard to get in the end zone that play. So, I mean, there's a lot of good things you saw out of McCaffrey to be happy about. Joe, any thoughts about the Patriots game?
Yeah. Last thoughts, and I've already mentioned this, but I think we're probably going to see a bit more of this than we have at any point so far this year. I think we're going to see Captain Mungler on the field more. In fact, I think we need to see Captain Mungler on the field more if we really want to have a chance at winning this game.
He needs to tackle well.
Yeah, and he needs to tackle. I agree. If he's on the field, it doesn't do any good if he's not tackling.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's jump into our cat calls for the night.
Nice.
And then we'll make our picks.
That's becoming my favorite segment, man.
Actually, go ahead and actually talk for one more second. Do me a favor.
Do we have an MVP at all for this game? Is it possible to have?
The two things I was excited about in this game, Christian McCaffrey in the slot more, 100 yards, and then Curtis Samuel on that reverse and some different ways that they started using him. I just want to see them take him deep a couple times, like Ted Ginn. But both of those players showed some flashes this week that had me excited.
I agree. Both of them. It was good to see them on the field at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It really was.
What's happened? What's happened to Russell Shepard? What's happened to Russell Shepard though? Yeah, heard his name since the first game. Yeah.
And what about Jameer Byrd? Has he even caught a pass this year?
Maybe one. Yeah.
What about Curtis Samuel? Like a lot of excitement there, right? When you get the reverse.
Fast. Dude is fast. And that's what we need. We need that speed.
They're still trying to figure out their way. They're still, they're an amoeba. coming together. There's moving pieces, moving parts, and it's still early. There's been times when Cam has looked really sluggish early in the season. His MVP season, his first 3 games were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well,
good. He can turn it on against the Patriots.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we're going to jump into the Cat Calls line. You, Panther Nation, we want to hear from you. We want to get your thoughts on the game past, on the game upcoming, any topic that you enjoy, that you have something to say about. You can call and get on the podcast. You call the number 252-228-5098. You can leave a message anytime, all day long, and we will get you on the podcast, because this is about getting the fan voice and the fan discussion that is killing it in the YouTube chat room right now. That's 252-228-5098. Let's go ahead and knock out these cat calls.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, this is Panther Nasty. I'm looking at the situation offensively, because that's what we're struggling. And if you look at what I did with both running backs last year, with Monty Freeman and Coleman, Gabriel, Sanu, and Julio Jones or Julia Jones. They had an offense last year, and this is unique to them, but they had an offense last year that everybody was involved. The Saints, they get everybody involved. I think we're asking too much of a guy like Shula to get everybody involved. We had games where Olsen wasn't getting the ball. We had games that I feel like last year we wasn't using Benjamin and punches right. We really haven't been able to get the ball to Russell Shepard or Samuel or Curtis Samuel. And I don't think he's capable. I don't think he know how. I think it's hurting the team. And like I said, you want offensive change, but you don't want to change the offense. Or change the offensive coordinator, the actual mastermind behind it. I think we put too much on Shula's plate, thinking he's gonna be able to do it. To me, I don't even think he used Cam right. I don't see enough. When he was getting blitzed, I don't see enough bootlegs. I don't see enough plays where you change the landscape and give the offensive line a little break. Olsen gets hurt, Benjamin gets hurt, the centers get hurt, the tackles get hurt, but the offensive play calling don't change. I don't know, guys. Peace.
Our defense is where it needs to be. Our offense, we gotta get back on it. We gotta spread the love. McCaffrey, he nice and everything. I just feel like he getting too many touches, and people are expecting that. So we need to spread the ball, especially with Greg being out. But other than that, we good, man. We just need. I know part of it's part of him. The rest of the.
Yeah. Hey.
Guys, this is Greg behind enemy lines in Massachusetts. Got to say, I'm not feeling good about this upcoming game against the Patriots. No, I will not be going to the game. You couldn't pay me to go to a game in Foxborough. Panthers.
Can't pay that guy to go to Foxborough. Panthers.
I like it.
I felt like when he was making that call, guys, like he was like looking around.
Yeah.
Right. Let's keep getting through these calls.
What's up, C3 Podcast? It's your boy J-Dub again. Told you needed to fire Shula. If he does another bubble screen on 3rd and long with one receiver to block, I'm gonna stomp him. I'm not hitting the panic button. I'm going to keep pounding too, but this is a bit absurd. Cam, obviously his shoulder is not well enough, and I can tell because if you look at his mechanics, which have never been pretty, he is throwing completely with his body. He's using his body, not his arm. and he just needs to accept that he's not healthy enough. I don't know what the hell's going on. I just sometimes I see little sprinkles of what Shula should be doing, and then you never see it again. Like the beautiful one where he had Stewart in the backfield and McCaffrey at slot, and then you can do a little end around. He can actually run a route. He can do pretty much anything. I think they should do this. Use Fozzie, use Stu as your running backs. Use Curtis Samuel, and McCaffrey as your slots with Shepard. And there's opens up a whole new world.
I agree.
I also think some of our struggles are due to, Greg Olson's gone. That's going to hurt. But Ryan Khalil being gone, I think, is actually a bigger deal at this point because he is the one who gets those protections going. And it seems like without his big brother, Matt Khalil just doesn't know what the hell he's supposed to be doing because he just doesn't know. My brother says, I'm trying to not be completely negative, but I just like to vent to you guys instead of all my friends around here. They're not going to want to hang out with me no more. The defense, Daryl Worley and James Bradbury just had a bad game. Bradbury definitely admitted that on the Ginn touchdown, he was man on. He looked to make sure his alignment was right, and they quick cutted it, and it was too late. Luke dropped a pick 6, which really hurt. I'm not really hurt about the defense. I actually think that this loss for the defense is a good thing just because Wilkes will have some actual game tape of people stomping us to be able to fix it and make it better for the rest of the year, especially next week when we head to New England and after that at Detroit, because we better do something. Or, the special teams, he's made every kick, but he hasn't had a clutch kick yet. And until he does that, I still don't like him. For returning, I'm pretty much done with McCaffrey doing punt returns because if you're going to use him that much on offense, you can't get hurt on special teams. And we have Curtis Samuel, Demir Bird.
I like putting Bird back there.
All right, cut off a little early. I don't know what's up with that, but let's keep going.
Yes. Hi, this is your favorite Falcon Troll, Scotty Jurassic. That's right. It's been a couple of weeks, but I just couldn't go. I was laughing too hard the last couple of weeks at those sorry wins you had. And then you guys just went out and proved my point and made this phone call so much easier. The Falcons are going to kill you guys. Keep pounding.
Oh, God.
What a dude.
Last one.
Can we block him?
Can we block it? Here comes P Nasty one last time.
Hey guys, this is Panther Nasty, man. We have a tough quarterback, and Cam has been getting beaten up over the years. A lot of games where teams have figured out a way to get to him and hit him, and we weren't able to make the adjustments to help his case or help him or even try to protect him. And he's a tough guy, and he normally takes it in stride. But I think the hits have accumulated, and I think it has gotten to Cam mentally.
Yeah.
And this last game where he got sacked on the first play, it just you see it has taken its toll on him. And let's see how tough he is. Unfortunately, he shouldn't have to be this tough. But let's hope our quarterback will pull through.
All right, guys, that's the cat call line. You can call anytime, all day, every day. Vent, get a little therapy in, get a little trash talk in. Like J-Dub said, I think J-Dub brought a really great call today. And like he said, he's got to vent to us because everybody else will just hate him. I say this, vent to us and let's make everybody else hate us together. Panther Nation, call 252-228-5098 anytime, and Rap with the C3 podcast will get you on Tuesday nights, and we want to get your voice heard. All right, guys, let's jump in. We got to continue through. It's 10 o'clock. We're on good schedule tonight. Let's get through our picks tonight. We've been picking the divisional picks, and it looks like this is last week we went in Mel was 6-1. Joe was 7-0. I was 6-1. Mel, you lost the Lions. You lost the Panthers. And you lost the Bucks. You went 0-3.
Awful week, man.
Does it count as 0-3 when you pick the Panthers and you picked against it? Is that 0-4? All right.
But that was man, that Lions touchdown, man. That would have changed everything. Boom.
Robbed.
Boom.
As Slim J said, robbed.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, you went Falcons, Panthers, Bucks, and you went 1-2. Is that right?
Bad week.
I went Lions, Panthers, and Vikings. I should have gone 2-1. Should have gone 2-1, but I went 1-2, which means that Joe has got his first loss. He is 8. No, you got 2 losses. You're 8-2. I'm 7-3, and Mel is now 6-4. Oh, yuck. That's tough. Tough. All right. I hope you guys got the games pulled up. Nope. Failure. All right. Panthers, Pats. We know that one. Start. I'll pull them up.
All right. I'm gonna start it out. I'm gonna pick. Hopefully, it's gonna be a jinx reverse Jedi mind trick here, but I am gonna take the Patriots in this game.
You taking the who?
The Patriots.
You suck, Mel.
Joe?
I'm going Panthers, man.
There you go.
Good for you, man. You really think that's going to happen, or are you just being a homer?
No, I think we have a shot. If our line can play well, we have a shot. You know, defense is going to bounce back.
I hope you're right, brother.
I know you do. We just can't.
I'll tell you what, though, man. I've just had awful luck this year. I took David Johnson, #1 overall in fantasy. Broken arm. He's gone. Kelvin Benjamin.
Taking the Pats. I'm sorry. I'm taking the Pats. I hate to do it, but I want to, Joe.
You suck, too.
You had me. And I was really going to say, and then I thought, man, they haven't lost in Foxborough but one time in like 28 years.
And that was this year, but hey,
it hurts. I actually really agree with Joe. Is that I think Cam is destined at some point. He's got to bounce back. You know, It's not that he has not been playing. I mean, he has been playing bad, but there's been moments where you're going, he's getting it done.
And this is the type of game he's going to be mentally focused on, right? I mean, not that he really wasn't before, but I mean, this is a big game on a big stage on a big day. I'm hoping, praying we win this game. It will be so sweet. But maybe, just maybe, me picking against them is going to be the juice. It's going to be the juice to put us over the top.
All right. So let's see who's
the Bucks and
the Giants.
The Bucks and the Giants. Right?
Where is it?
It's in Tampa.
I'm taking the Bucks.
They lost to the Vikings on the road.
Mm-hmm.
They did not play well. The Giants are bouncing back.
They made Case Keenum look like a stud.
Yeah, they did.
But I tell you, not many teams are worse than the Giants. I'm not sure any team is worse than the Giants right now.
Why?
Eli Manning, you think Cam Newton has been playing bad? Eli Manning, awful so far this year. Awful. Their running game, huge. Their defense, their $200 million defense, incredibly bad. Eric Flowers makes Matt Khalil look like Joe Thomas. It's true. It's damn true.
I'm taking the Bucks.
4.5-point favorites.
The Bucks are?
Yeah.
I'm taking them.
And we're just picking straight up. I'm going Bucks.
Because they're going to be pissed after losing to the Vikings the way they did. They're going to be pissed. They're going to want to come out and prove something.
Now, Jameis Winston had 3 turnovers this past weekend, too. So it's not like Cam Newton's the only Matt Ryan had 3 turnovers this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So Cam Newton's not the only one making turnovers.
The Giants.
Ooh. He's continuing that string, picking against every NFC South opponent.
I think they start to put it back together again. I think that we are overcorrecting on them. All right, who's next is...
You got the Falcons and the Dolphins. Falcons
and Dolphins? Well, that's simple for me. I'll start first. I'm picking the Falcons.
Yeah, it's almost as painful as picking the Patriots, but I'm also picking the Falcons.
Go.
I'm picking the Birds.
All right, and the last game is, you guys find it?
Saints. Who are the Saints playing? Damn Saints.
They are playing. The Saints are playing. No, it's the Saints at Dolphins.
Oh, well, that changes everything then.
That does. It's the Falcons and Bills.
Oh, that's right.
I'm still staying with the Falcons. And the Saints and the Dolphins. And it is on 9:30 a.m. What the hell? Is that in England? Oh, God.
Is it in London?
Yeah.
All right, so let's go, Joey and me.
We should not have to pick this game.
Yeah, because this is kind of like a wild card because
the Dolphins were so bad. I'm picking the Dolphins.
You know that trip over, the difference in your sleep, just all kinds of things are factors in that game. Look at what the Jags did to the Ravens.
I'm taking the Dolphins.
You're taking the Dolphins?
Yep.
Saints are 2.5-point favorites. That's it.
Give me the fans.
I'm going with the Dolphins. Joe, who you got?
I'm going to make it a threesome.
Nice.
And I'm going to go with the Dolphins based on that defensive line.
That's crazy that we can't beat the damn Saints, but they can. All right. So the last part, guys, we got to get first, I do want to encourage everybody everybody's listening. Thank you it said Carl Van says the Saints. Slim says Saints versus the Fins. Philip Rivers gets every excuse in the book. Let me go back and see another thing. Craig says Giants 23-20. He's with me. I like that. Carl is with me. Giants by 4. I'm liking this, you guys. I wasn't even looking at the comments when I was making my picks. I was trying not to be overly influenced. Love it. So I'm feeling good about this. All right. Drew Brees says bunch of wussies make the pick. We did make the pick, and it's the Dolphins. And your Drew Brees is a wussy. He just beat our ass the other day. All right. The last part of the I do want to say this, guys. If you're listening right now, if you haven't, please, there's a thumbs up button on YouTube. How hard is it to just smash that sucker? Smash that like button. Share, retweet, follow us on Twitter, cat_chronicles. It's huge. I'm working my way slowly and surely to 6,000 followers. I'm at 5,500. I'm feeling it. I've worked. By the way, P Nasty was my second follower on Twitter. That's how I roll on Twitter. We remain friends to the end. Yeah, all 5,000 of us. We're in it together, Panther Nation. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. And also, check us out on Facebook. We want to grow our Facebook page, Carolina Cat Chronicles. And please, just share the broadcast. And if you are feeling cool, you can consider going to the show notes on YouTube or on the podcast page and considering donating as little as $1 to the podcast.
All that goes to enhancing the show, extra effects, extra things that we can do, more interaction, more calls.
My computer's in the shop right now.
Yeah, please don't think that we're bringing home paychecks for doing this. Please.
Yeah, we haven't brought home $1. So we appreciate that. And also, there's another great way you can support the show or the website, and that is to purchase our t-shirts. We got a couple cool t-shirts. We got an I Stand With Cam t-shirt. That's amazing. We've got a Put It in the Bank t-shirt. That's awesome. And the C3 t-shirt. One nation, 2 states, 1 nation, 1 voice. Carolina Cat Chronicles. All of those, the highest quality t-shirt you can buy. That's one thing we don't cheap out on because Mel don't like a cheap t-shirt. All right. The last part of the show, hopefully, we got it. And that is, you know what? Just screw it. I thought I had it pulled up. I had it pulled up, man. Where are the ice cubes at? Where are the ice cubes?
Clank, clank.
Clank, 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 clank. All right, it's time to ice the bugs up. Joe, are you ready to ice somebody up?
I am.
What you got?
There's some pretty unbelievable things that take place in our society today. Just craziness. And this particular story I caught wind of the other day just makes me really believe that society is at a tipping point. There's a woman in Colorado whose name is Kathy Budd. She lives in Colorado Springs. She's a stay-at-home mom. She's noticed for the past several weeks a jogger that runs by her house. And at first it was no big deal. But then one day she was watching something on the television and the kids came up running to her saying, "Mommy, Mommy, look at the lady outside." So Mrs. Budd went to the window and was looking outside. And there she saw the jogger defecating in her front yard.
Ooh.
So, you know, a surprise to say the least, Mrs. Budd went out there and confronted her. She actually said, excuse me, do you know what you're doing? And
I hope so.
The woman said yes. And she said, she said, crapping in my yard. And she said, yes. And she said, you're doing it in front of my kids. And the woman said, I'm sorry. I don't believe her because she came prepared with napkins to use as toilet paper. Now, the weirdest thing of all is she has continued to do this. It has happened several times over the course of the last 2.5 months. The police have been contacted, but they've yet to really go after and try to prosecute the lady. And Mrs. Budd continues to have these piles of poop.
Is it Bud or is it Bud?
It's Bud.
That's not Jake Budd.
She's like growing Bud in Colorado and taking shits on people's lawns.
Oh my god!
And this jogger just like a dog feels the need to crap in their yard.
In the same spot every time.
Every time. And she brings napkins that she wipes her butt with and leaves them there. They actually showed a picture, which of course was, blotted out, but you can see the white napkins on top of her poop. She wipes her butt and then puts napkins right on top of it. So, folks, this saddens me because people have really stopped being human. When it gets to the point to where you have no shame to go ahead and pop a squat in your neighbor's yard, and then they ask you about it, and you do nothing to stop yourself, or have a little decency and bring a bag and pick it up while you're running. My God. So, to this mad pooper or jogger that has the worst case of the runs ever, I think ice up.
Oh God! I mean, you gotta end the show there. Oh God, that was good.
Oh man!
Woo!
I haven't felt so under. I haven't felt.
How'd you keep it together, Joe? How did you keep it together?
Oh yeah.
Here are some couple of comments I think have to be read. Carl Van says sneak shitting all over town.
Oh my!
And what was a junkie for fame says, so is this her morning routine?
Oh, at least she was regular. Oh.
And my comment is that runner gets the runs.
Exactly.
That's
exactly right.
Yeah, like Greg Craig says, go ahead and top that. So who's next?
All right, I got you. I'm topping it.
All right.
Topping it. Here it comes. I'm icing up Mel Mayock.
Oh my goodness gracious. After all I did for you, man.
He doesn't have sugar in his house.
This is true. As some people have been skinny.
No, you're wrong. He did have sugar in the house. He just didn't know it was there.
Yeah, according to my daughter.
He was trying to save my life.
Yes.
He told me.
Did you read the article I forwarded you? Yeah.
We had a good time Saturday night, smoked cigars, drank some, had a great dinner. Lovely time. Wake up Sunday morning, get ready for the game, having coffee. We said, how do you take your coffee? You want some cream? I like cream and just a little bit of sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like I usually do a Splenda. Like I'm talking like the minutest amount. And he said, we don't got that. I was like, well, I almost want to say, well, why'd you ask me how I take my coffee then? I mean, like you should have just made it the way you wanted it, man. You can't accommodate.
He should have said, here, I made your coffee.
Yeah, I mean, like no kidding, folks. I was like, all right, guys, what do y'all want in the house before you get here? I gave you a chance, man. I said, what do you want? What versions do you have? What kind of food do you want?
Sorry, I didn't know we had to be
I wanted you to say sugar. You didn't say sugar.
Electricity. I didn't mention electricity.
Has sugar.
Yeah.
Some form of
it's all right.
It's
It's all right that you didn't have sugar. Because then when he proceeded to try to tell me he doesn't have sugar and that he can't give it to me because it's bad for you. As we were smoking cigars the night before and drinking booze at like 10 o'clock in the morning, guys saying that 16 calories of sugar is going to kill me.
You got to draw the line somewhere, man.
So then, all right. And then I wasn't even going to say nothing about it. But then like 2 hours before or an hour before the show, he sends me a link about how sugar's bad for you. So to you,
that's because you think sugar's not bad.
Get on your lawn. First of all, you're so lucky I didn't take a dump on beside your dog.
Oh, you gonna piss off? You gonna piss off?
What the hell? Don't ask nobody how they take their coffee if you ain't got what it takes to make their coffee.
All right, so the next time you come over, man, I'm not even gonna
bring your own sugar.
Bring your own coffee, man.
I will. It was fun.
Yeah, we had a great time, man. All right, now see, now I'm going back to football. So it's hard to top a crappy runner and somebody who's upset about sugar. So you saw what I did there, crappy runner. Yeah. So
yes.
All right. So, but now going back to football. A big moment in the game to me, it was a little thing, and we are a team of momentum, right? But I swear, we were still in the game. We were making a drive. We were going to score. I think we only had 3 points at a time. We were getting ready to go up 10-7. And Cam was in shotgun and actually in the pistol formation, I believe. And this boneheaded official, and I haven't heard much talk about this week. The boneheaded official.
I forgot about this.
He gets in front of Cam, holding up the play for at least 7 seconds off the clock. And then while the play clock's running, then moves out of the way. And within 3 ticks of the clock of him moving out of the way, where Cam was looking at the guy like, what the heck are you doing? And then he looks back, makes contact with Larson, ready to make the snap, delay a game. Unbelievable. That changed total momentum. Now, granted, we should not be so mentally fragile to where that just set us back. We've got to get some more mental fortitude, but that sucked.
But saying that it didn't change the momentum would be lying.
Would absolutely be lying. And that impacted the entire game, in my opinion. So for you, Mr. NFL referee, that cost us the game against the Saints. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Ice up, son.
Oh, my God. Drew Brees, says it gets worse. And he hits us with a link from Inquisitor.com.
About sugar?
About the Mad Pooper, man.
Oh.
And it says this is the title of the article dated September 26th. So today, Mad Pooper's spokesman
my God
emerges.
Who took that job?
Citing weird pooping rights for female jogger defecating in the yard. And then it says this. It says the Mad Pooper strikes again, but this time her spokesman making a public statement on her behalf. Apparently, she plans to continue defecating on Colorado laws because she's protected under the law when doing so.
Sometimes we take rights in this country too far, do we not?
You think? There goes. She's probably a liberal.
Doug. I think
dimes a dollar. She's
a libertarian.
Better. He first wants the public to know that Shirley is truly sorry for her defecating behavior. But it is something she cannot help. The spokesman conveyed that the Mad Pooper is struggling after gender reassignment surgery.
Oh my! So she is a liberal.
He went on to say that she battles a traumatic brain injury, which Joe is going to say is liberalism. Then I cut you off. I know. The spokesperson also added that Shirley can no longer control herself after going the reassignment surgery. That's the end quote. My quote is this: is that they reassigned her butthole. Good
listen. In the article I read from, the ultimate irony to all this is there is a park across the street from where Mrs. Budd lives that has bathrooms in it.
Oh, dear Gussie.
Okay, I gotta correct myself on this. It's not Drew Breezy, D. Breeze Wilson. Damn it! That's a big difference. Yeah, I've been looking at him the whole time thinking he was a Saints troll.
Me too.
I'm glad he took offense to that.
Well, I'm glad
Slim J said, "Hey, Bruce Jenner is a conservative." Well, what is Kate? What is I don't know even the names.
I have Kylie and Kayla, and Jenner is not a conservative in any way. But this goes to show you what happens when you let liberals run the country. This is exactly what happens when liberals run the country.
Boo.
What type of behavior?
Fire those SOBs, Joe. Fire those SOBs. This is the C3 podcast brought to you by CarolinaChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night, if
kind of a weird show,
the latest Panthers news and opinions, we may be shitting on your lawn.
I'm glad we didn't have this conversation before C3 came and spent the night at my house this weekend. I guarantee you something.
No, it would have been weird. Let me tell you this: if that was my father-in-law, he is a dead-eye shot with his BB gun. Her backside would be lit up. I can see him now hiding in the bushes out front in his house. And then as soon as those pants drop, to the ow!
I would shoot the poop. Bladders buck up on her.
This show has got to be one of the
gone off the rails, folks. Like the Panthers game against the Saints. My name's Tony Dunn. You can follow our work at CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Check out all the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. I got a good story up on Cam Newton's press conference. Love for you to go on and share that. Slim J said that joke's going to be going on all season. Matt Khalil shit on the lawn this game. You can follow us at cat_chronicles on Twitter. Mel, you still doing mock drafts when nobody cares about the draft?
Hey, man. Yeah. Hey, every other week during the season. So once every 2 weeks, Draft Text, the best draft site out there. Go check them out.
All right, here we go real quick. Something to chew on until next show. Is it too early to be looking to draft Cam Newton's replacement?
Way too early.
Okay, I didn't want an answer. It was a question to mull over until next week.
I don't have to think about it for me.
All right, Joe, you guys, I'll catch you next week, brother.
Yeah, great show, guys. Thanks
Later, guys.
Thanks for hanging out.